yeah. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. Yeah, 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 yeah. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. Yeah, yeah. Trash talking, who the best? Who make good or bad trades? Who pick the best players? Who got certified game? We just football lovers. Come and join the funny games with the Banter Brothers. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. Yeah. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. You're now tuned in to the Banter Brothers with your host, Brian Paulo, and his co-host, Nick Johnson. Coming at you live with this week's fantasy football highlights and trash talk. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. Yeah. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers.
Something champ. I no idea. Stand by for the champ. Oh, here we go. Stand by for the champ. We're standing by for the champ. Apparently, we're standing by for the champ. No idea here, folks. Oh, here we go, folks. The champion, Nick.
It's me. Last minute detail added in.
Oh, is that? Yeah, I can
Last
see you
minute.
just for the part 2 as well. You know, for the nice little final award show too. You just dressed up, champ. Nice.
Listen, I dressed like my team. Grinder, hard working, dedicated.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Nick.
This is very painful for you. I just want you to know that I acknowledge how painful this is for you, and I revel in it. I
take this pain. I'm going to take this pain, and I'm going to turn this to greatness next year. So don't worry about it.
No, I look forward to the greatness. Mm-hmm. I look forward to see what that actually looks like.
It's going to look fantastic. It's going to be glorious. But enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Sure. Let's do it. What do we want to talk about?
Well, let's talk about the final matchup and how you won. This is crazy how you won the final here.
Well, first of all, let's get this out of the way. Okay. 3 wishes. 3. Just like I told you.
Yeah.
Just like I told you in week 1 of the playoffs, and you're like, wow, it can't happen. It's like Christmas wishes. Yeah. I'm rubbing that lamp. I got wish 2 against Jared, wish 3 against Taylor, 3 wishes. Yeah. I mean, we can get it out of the way. If Taylor starts Chase, obviously it's over.
100%.
Right?
You know, hey, yeah. I said it. It was the whole Antonio Brown thing. You know, if he was going to put him in, not put him in, you're going to put Chase in or put the other guy in.
Yeah.
But either way, it was chased. He got chased out.
Well, you know what? But it was funny. We were sort of joking about it last week for the podcast. And Taylor had such an embarrassment of riches on his team that he was, and I said, all of them are great options. You're just hoping that he makes the right
choice. Yeah.
Right. And so here's the thing. This is what I would say. Okay. And I wrote this down because if I was Taylor right now, I'd be probably like, making the news. Right. And so I really do understand why he chose Antonio Brown. You can go in retrospect and say it was a bad choice because obviously it was, but I understand why he did it. And so I'm just going to go over.
I understand why he did it. The Tampa was deployed on wide receivers, and he was the only option.
Yeah, it was against the Jets, but this is the thing
against the Jets. Yeah.
But this is the thing about Chase, right? And this is the thing to remember is that, and I typed this stuff out for this situation, right? Is okay in the past 8 games prior to last game. Okay, so the past 8 games, that's half of the season. In 6 of those 8 games, he had scored under 16 points. Okay, and they were not good games. It's not like he scored 12, 13, 14. He wasn't there. He was not a number 1 or 2 wide receiver in 6 of the previous 8 games.
Yeah.
Right? So right off the bat, Taylor's been starting him and going, and Taylor was winning because his team was amazing. But when you have that option with Antonio, I mean, I understand it. But as far as the game goes, I mean, it was the It was the 7th best game by a wide receiver ever in the 16th game of the like, it was a championship winning week, and
Yes.
I obviously benefited by him being on the bench. But again, I really do Taylor overthunk it a little bit because of the matchup, right? He's like, "Oh no, Antonio, he had an injury and like an injured ankle leading into that week, but the matchup and like was Mike Evans going to be hobbled? I don't know. There was Taylor overthunk it, but he's also a really good general manager. He had the best team in the league, so you have to sort of acknowledge the thought process too. Right? I completely understand it.
No, I understand that too. I actually talked about this with Mike about if you have a good bench. Like I had a good bench, and I overthought most of my stuff half the time.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. Like I think I had one week I had guys who had 20 points, 20 points, 20 points, 20 points on my bench, and was like, it's just choices. Is that also having depth a bad choice, or just having your main guys, right?
Well, I don't know. Ask Kevin if depth is a bad choice, right?
Well,
I mean, depth wins you over the course of a season. Depth will win you enough games probably to get you into the playoffs, right?
Yes.
But I've learned this over the years, but it's not to say that it made me any more confident, is that when you get into the playoffs, it's not the names that necessarily win you the games. It's a week-to-week game at that point, right?
Yeah, I agree now, yeah.
And so because of all of the COVID and injury stuff that I had to endure, I had no choice but to try and play the best matchup guys that I could. And so if you look at Taylor's team, this last thing, Zeke didn't show up, Chubb didn't show up, Jefferson didn't show up. Obviously, Antonio Brown had a historic meltdown. All of these players that he had that are name guys that you would draft in the first round, and you definitely don't remove them. None of them showed up. They all had poor matchups.
Yeah, that's true.
And so in the same way that Taylor didn't start Chase because it was a poor matchup against Kansas City, like, look, T. Higgins had been awesome the previous 6 or 7 games. Awesome. And he ended up with like 3 for 80.
Yeah.
Right. And so if that was Jamar Chase, Taylor still loses, except now there's not that. Can you believe he left him on the bench thing? So, it's Taylor. And this is what I had said again last week, is that I had set up my lineup to have all of these great matchups. Doesn't mean they're going to do well, but they had these great matchups. Taylor's team all had reds. They all had these poor matchups. And it just happened to be, thank goodness for me, that none of them performed well. It was pretty amazing to watch.
It is. Yeah. I remember when I had one week where I had all greens and it didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
Right. It's just one of those dumb things where you don't know, right?
Yeah. You'd like to pretend that it's skill, and it's some of it's
luck.
Some of it's like studying, but you're ultimately
prepared. You got to be prepared. Yes.
The odds, and sometimes the odds work, and sometimes the odds don't. Right.
Yeah.
And so, again, I got very lucky. My arch nemesis on his defense, Bobby Wagner, went out.
Yeah, he went out.
I got lucky. But again, for everything that went on with Antonio, I lost Ronald Jones, almost identical to the thing, and he had.
Sorry, you lost who? Rojo? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God.
No. But I'm just saying that injuries happen, and Ronald Jones was playing the worst rushing defense in the league, and he went out in the first quarter, and I was like, I kind of need something. So they sort of just level out sometimes. It is what it is, right?
Mm.
Yeah. My team won by 30. Outside.
No, I know. Listen, you did the average. You've been averaging 170 in the last playoff games. 170, 160. I 140 with me, which was a low scoring week, and then 160, 170, right?
You know what my team was? If you were to compare it to a real life team, okay, it's sort of like my team is the non-talented team, but they play together as a team. They tackle really well, they execute plays really well, but none of them are the
Baltimore won with Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah. I'm not kidding. You're right.
Trent Dilfer.
You're right. I lost a lot of my high-end talent, and I just had to go with a bunch of these no-name. I had to go with 4 49ers, for goodness sakes.
The next special. Hey,
yeah, the Johnson special. Do you know the
Johnson special?
The Johnson special prior to Sunday was reserved for our pizza order, which is pepperoni, pineapple, or pepperoni, mushroom, and green pepper. That's the Johnson special.
Oh, right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that comes from our honeymoon. We went down to a sandals resort. and they had a wood-burning oven, and so they would deliver us pizzas to the pool.
Okay.
And so we were there for 10 days, and so the guy got used to our order, and so we started calling it the Johnson Special without actually ordering it, and that's how our. So the Johnson Special prior to Sunday was our pizza, but
Okay.
now
anymore, forget
it's
that.
49ers.
Gotcha.
I will allow anybody else to have 4 of any other team. It doesn't have to be the.
Doesn't have to be. So that now 4 of anything is now the Johnson Special.
Yeah. So when
Gotcha.
Jared tries to start 4 Dallas Cowboys next year,
the Johnson Special.
That's the Johnson Special. I'll allow it. Now, if Jared wants to take it as the Sharon Special because he's doing it with the Cowboy, that's fine. Or you can do the Paulo.
You're the OG. That's where it started from. Yeah. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything starts with a single seed, buddy.
Well, it starts with you. What else do we have? We have the Rizzy Special too.
Rizzy Special was just like what, 3 tight ends? Was it 2?
2 or 3 tight ends. Yeah.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I think it was it's 2 tight ends.
Is it just 2?
2 tight ends.
Yeah, nobody's won with the 2 tight end system though yet, right?
No, not yet.
No.
He was really adamant on that.
But yes, you're right. I think the Rizzy Special is 2 tight ends, but you have to win.
You have to win with the 2 tight ends.
Yeah,
yes.
To actually be a special thing, because anybody can start a whole bunch of yahoos in a lineup. I mean, we looked at Mike Rizzy's team in the latter half of the year.
Yeah,
you can start any bunch of yahoos you want, but you got to win with them. That's why, like when Rizzy beat Johnny in that last week to knock him out of the play, he would have been out because you won anyway. But you really did spoil him, so he gets to be that spoil. He earned his name. He was the spoiler.
He did. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the final.
Absolutely bananas. Absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked because, like, when you start to see like one of his players, like when Antonio goes in, I'm like, oh, I have a shot. And when Chase wasn't in there, I was like, well, that's just so ridiculous. I wouldn't have had a shot if he was in, but with Antonio, I was like, oh, well, because in the projections that lowered it to the point where we were essentially neck and neck.
Yeah.
When Antonio
as soon as you saw Antonio take off that shirt and at the end zone in the third quarter, like this, I think he's done. Kevin's done. Look at this. There goes the season.
It wasn't. You know what? It wasn't that. You know when I truthfully, it was when Zeke had 3.5 points. Like when Zeke didn't go out there.
He didn't show up.
No, but like when like up and into, because he still has all of the names, and so because of that, these guys are perfectly capable of all putting up 20 to 25 points at a drop of a hat. And so I didn't have those horses. I had guys that I'm hoping to just go 15. You
had Rojo.
Yeah, against the number 1 defense or the number 1 best rushing or the worst.
I was laughing. I couldn't believe it. Was this guy starting Ronald Jones in the final?
Yeah, but you know what? That was a good play. That was a good play in the same.
It ended up being a good play.
Yeah. But it wasn't a good play for me. He only ended up with like 4.5 points because he injured his ankle and went out.
I know, but
it is what it is. This is what I mean. You just don't know. You know what I mean? Like when you look at, like there was a point where I was looking, I'm like, okay, you can always do the woulda, shoulda, couldas. It's like, oh, if only I had started such and such. But I'm like, but I'm not starting that guy. Oh, like Stefan Diggs got 7.7 points, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to start some Yahoo off of the street over Stefan Diggs. Like it's like, look, Dalvin Cook got me 2.9 points. You know what I mean? So in the same way that like Justin Jefferson got screwed for Taylor, Dalvin Cook didn't show up. You're not going to not start these guys because they've been great all year long when they play. So it is what it is. It was crazy though. I couldn't believe it. I was up until Monday night. I just couldn't believe it.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It was kind of crazy, but
yeah, absolutely crazy. And all I could think of is, I can't believe I get a ring. I can't believe I get a ring.
I can't believe I have to watch you with the ring everywhere I go. You got to bring this little thing around with you now, and I have to see you with this ring now.
Yeah, and now you don't get to do the Buffalo Bills thing with me, like back to back years.
No, listen, I hear you. I can't. I got to call you champion.
Yeah, I know it's gross, and now I get to call you whatever I want to call you next year.
I can't.
With it,
I'm like a little.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I understand.
I know.
You got all year to work through it, buddy.
100%. So there you go. Congratulations, Nick. You're champion.
Yeah, and congratulations again to Taylor. I mean, Taylor literally did have that. You can't control who doesn't and does show up. His team was the best team all year long.
I agree. Yeah. His team should have won. I still think his team is the best. I still think Taylor's still the one to all watch out for.
Yeah, 100%.
He's still like champion and runner up.
No, he
Was
can't be
runner-up
runner up.
last
I
year?
was runner up last year.
You were runner-up last year.
Yeah,
That's
because
right.
I played Johnny,
Correct.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
I
Well, he
don't.
came
Taylor
in.
would know. Taylor was year one.
He's semifinal. He lost to you in the semifinals, and I lost to Johnny.
Did I beat him last year too?
I think so because I lost to Johnny in semis.
So I got Taylor's number as well. So I got Taylor and Brian's number. Who else? Whose number should I go after next year? That's really the question.
Yeah, we'll see, Nick.
Should I get myself a new arch nemesis? I mean, it's starting to kind of feel a little bit pathetic, Brian. I think I need a new arch nemesis.
You need to know who's going to be our. It's going to be me, and I'm going to take it. Look, it's just you, Johnny, and thing. There's only 3. It's only 3 seasons. So just relax, homie. I think Taylor's still the guy. Taylor's still the guy to kind of watch out.
Taylor absolutely is the guy. Listen, I was dead last. Remember the first year? Remember when you
dead last? I know I was second dead last, but you're dead last. I know.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. It was brutal.
Okay. I think we also have the Banter Boards award show.
Oh, we do. And you know what? I put the kids to bed late today. I was going to steal one of my son's medals to make it look like you guys are actually going to win something, but you guys are winning nothing. You're just winning our admiration and our votes.
Yeah, they can get something if Super Bowl, the ring ceremony. I'll give you a nice little award there if you like.
Sure. Yeah. I'm accepting 0 dick punches. I am not accepting a
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Dick punches going around for Nick, coming around. 100%. You're getting a whole whack of dick punches. Get ready.
It's crazy. Do you know what's funny is that a couple of days ago, my eldest son got dick punched by my younger son, and it's the first time that he actually got to experience a dick punch and got to experience what that is like.
Wow, that's interesting.
And it reminded me of, back in elementary school and certainly into high school, where girls would dick punch you because they thought it was just funny because they think.
I'm sorry, girls dick punch you. I can understand why girls would dick punch you. I never got dick punched by a girl. Like, are you kidding me?
No, they were too scared of Candace, huh?
No, I was. Why would they dick punch me?
I don't know. I had a lot of.
I can see why would they dick punch you for sure, 100%. But me,
yeah.
I would see where they would just want to touch it.
I can definitely think of it. There's definitely at least 2 occurrences where they're just like, "Come on, it doesn't." You know what I think it was? I think the problem was that I had many friends.
Yeah.
I think I had many female friends, and I think that they thought that it's not a big deal, and they were just faking it. I think that's what they thought, and so that's what it reminded me. It's like no guy dick punches another guy now because they all know it fucking hurts like a son of a bitch.
Well, we always had that little. We had the dick punch. We had those the guys always did it when we were kids. Dick punch
when you're kids,
or a little thing, but bam, and all that.
Yeah,
hey,
look
at this, and bam.
Yeah, the flick thing.
Yeah. But I never got. No, they just.
It's a nightmare.
Dumb. Anyways, let's start with our awards. By
the way, since Brian and me have both voted on these, we all know that Brian is voting for himself in every single category. I'm going to try.
No, I'm not going to vote for myself. Come on, who do you think I am? Okay, so we have a couple categories, everyone.
We have a couple categories.
So let's get on with it, I guess.
Which one are we doing first?
We're gonna do worst draft pick.
Okay,
so here's our nominees.
Yes,
everyone.
To let you know, I can't comment on Brian because what we've done is we've amalgamated our choices.
Yes.
I can tell you that I actually spent some time researching these.
I did too. What do you think I did?
I think Brian was just like, oh.
I did some research.
Yeah.
Come on, how can you not say I did not do research? Okay, well, let's get on with it.
Okay,
Brian, round 2, Barkley and Thomas for me. That was my nomination for myself too.
Yeah.
Okay? For you, I got Ridley, second round, who didn't jack squat for you.
Yeah.
Okay? Mike, we got a couple players for Mike.
Yep.
Sorry, the ticker went off. I got to read it over again from Mike's.
That's okay. One's Chris Claypool.
Chris Claypool, round 4.
Yeah,
round 4.
Round 4.
Tanyan, it was a high. He didn't even play this year, did he? Kind of disappeared. Deshaun Watson.
You can see the preparation already coming out of Brian's mouth.
He did a little bit, right? We also got Doug for Mike Davis.
Davis.
And Julio Jones.
Oh, Julio. It's gross.
So those are our worst draft picks nominations, Nick.
Okay.
I'll start with you.
Well, so that it depends on your philosophy when you're choosing to pick these things. Okay. So the reason why I would immediately cross Calvin Ridley off of the list.
Oh, come on. You're going to take off yourself already off the get-go?
Well,
Ridley?
He's number 2. Do you know what? I would take Mike Thomas off the list as well, just so you know.
Okay.
But the reason for me is that when I think of the worst draft pick, I think of a guy that you drafted. Everybody hopes that their guys turn out really good, but that you literally started them week to week to week, and they just stopped. They couldn't stop fucking you in the ass.
Okay.
You just got screwed. And so when I look at Deshaun Watson, okay, he never played. Mike dropped him within a week. No big deal. Sayonara. It wasn't a great pick, 100%, but it
It was
didn't
a funny
hurt
pick.
him.
It was actually a really awesome funny pick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Like, yeah, because he was so excited. He's like, "You fuckers, you didn't even think of it. Deshaun Watson." And
Draft
Michael
day.
Thomas for the same deal. Like, you drafted him. You knew he was going to be out for 6 weeks. He sat in your injured reserve for 6 weeks. And then they said, "Oh, yeah, he's not coming back." And you're like, "Okay, drop."
He had a couple good nights. Listen, okay, so that was your worker. Here's my little oomph back at you.
Yeah.
He's still he has more points than McCaffrey.
Who?
Barkley.
Oh, God. Okay.
Come on. And on top of that, he's right now running back number 30. So he's not that bad. Running back number 30.
As I did my math,
32.
He was drafted in round 2, and he was the 31st best running back in total fantasy.
One more game left. He's going to catch up.
No,
So
it's
it's not bad.
As
It's
of
not
our
awful, but still, I understand the expectations. But still, it's not bad.
Okay.
Like
He was
still did a 20. What?
No. He
What?
was drafted to be one of the top 10 best running backs, and you were obviously hoping for a top 5 when you drafted him. You were hoping for a top 10 at the very
Top
least.
10.
And he's a 31st.
20.
He's the 31st best running back.
I'm going to say he's going to crack top 25 this weekend too. I think
Let me ask you a question. Hey, Brian, since we're just doing this and this is fun, I really like this. This is going to be our last podcast for a while, not because I don't enjoy this, but because, well, who's going to listen? Keep listening to it. So let me ask you a question. How many weeks, because Saquon played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 weeks. Out of those 12 weeks, how many weeks would you say that he provided you points that you were actually happy with because you were starting?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6? Name them.
7.
Name the points totals.
Okay, the Atlanta, the week 3.
18.4. Yep.
New Orleans, 28.
Yep,
okay.
I agree. 2.
Okay, and then after that I was gonna say the Miami game, 10 points.
You're happy with that? Okay.
Listen, I'm happy with it. What am I supposed to say? I'm happy. Yeah. 17 the next day.
Okay, I'll give you that one. That's 3.
Yeah, well, I didn't the last game. I didn't play with the last game, which got 10.
You didn't play him the last game?
The Chicago? I think I did or not. Anyways, he got 10. I think I did. Anyways, 6. Okay, listen, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst. He got me points.
Okay.
He got me points.
Okay, let me ask you. Since we're probably assured
he got more points than the number 1 guy. Can't be that bad.
Stop it. So you didn't actually start him in what was his last game, which was
I did start him. Hold on.
You did start.
I did start him. I have him in my. He was on my flex.
In your second round pick, which was a high second round pick, by the way, right? Because you
picked Ridley as well, and you're in the round pick. Okay, I picked Barkley. You got Ridley with your second pick. So it wasn't.
No. Okay, listen. Let's go with one at a time. All right. Let's go with Barkley since we're here. Okay. You drafted him to be a top 10 running back. This man provided you 12 weeks where he was playing.
Okay.
You played him, and he provided you 3 actual weeks that didn't fuck you.
Okay.
You don't draft a top 10 running back and say, well, I'm happy with 10. No, you're not. That's awful. That is not good. He screwed you. He screwed you week in and week out.
Whatever you say about Barkley, I say the exact same thing about Ridley. Second round pick, didn't do nothing for you. He did nothing for you. And on top of that, I don't think you even played him with 3 games and you had him for the longest time.
No.
And then you dropped him when you found out,
Okay, here's my
counter. You traded him.
Here's my counter for you, okay? So you're right. I drafted him. He would have been a late round pick.
He was the number 1 receiver that you said. You remember?
He was my late second round pick.
Yeah. But you're counting because he did wide receiver 1 numbers the year prior.
Yeah. He's listen, I'm not telling you he's a great pick. Okay? Understand. These are his weeks. He played 5 weeks. Okay. Here are his weeks. 7.6, obviously not great. 15.8, 10, 11.5, and 11.6. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, Not great. But then he went on his mental health leave, and I didn't play him again. He sat in my he didn't fuck my team. Saquon fucked your team. He fucked your team.
You fuck my team
He
completely.
fucked your team so hard. He was your jail cell roomie going, Brian, it's time. And you're saying, no, I don't want to. You didn't want to start him, but you kept having to start him, hoping that he was going to provide you with some points, and he never did.
He gave me some points. Okay, so it wasn't as much as points as I wanted him to be.
Yeah, obviously. So Michael Thomas doesn't count. He never played for you, sat on your injured reserve.
I wasted a pick on him. That's where I kind of
okay, but everybody so you can't help with injuries.
Like we're going by worst draft pick. That's how we're doing. Like we actually picked them from the spot that we had. Like these are worth valuable points where we picked up these things, right? Like
yeah. So okay, listen. If anybody is on this list, it's because they obviously were not good. Okay, it goes without saying, right? But which team or which player essentially screwed the individual's team the most? Okay, and in my assertion, it would be Saquon Barkley, because you started him and he never helped you. He never helped you.
Okay.
Right? Michael Thomas, he didn't help you, but he didn't hurt you. Right?
Yeah, I know, but
Calvin Ridley, I dropped him.
Hey,
and he stopped hurting.
Here's my other argument. I made the playoffs. Michael did not with all his the draft picks that he made. So.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But again, it comes down to a philosophy, and we can let our wonderful members of our listening podcast decide. Chase Claypool had a high upside, okay, and he never materialized, but he was drafted in, again, the fourth round, okay. He ends up right now, as it stands, as the 41st best wide receiver. Not great, right? But also, Claypool, but also, and I was like, for these guys weren't started. Tonyan, again, he got injured really early. He got dropped. Julio Jones was awful. Jared wasn't starting him a lot because he managed to get Jalen Waddle and sneak him in there. If he was riding with Julio Jones, it would be Julio next to Saquon for me. But because of what Saquon did to you, listen, you're out of the playoffs because of Saquon. Okay. Like you had to keep starting him because he's capable of giving you 25 points, and he just didn't do it. Two games all year.
I was hoping for the big points. I admit. Yeah.
2 games. That's all I'm saying. Is that all of these guys did not do well for any of the teams, right? But Saquon, because he was in your starting lineup week after week after week after week after week, you just kept getting your toe stubbed with him. Everybody else that's on this list, like Mike Davis, okay, Mike Davis was truly awful, but he was also a bench guy for Doug that came in when Derrick Henry went out. And so, yeah, it didn't help him for sure. I mean, he should have dropped him, but like he wasn't drafted to be a starting guy. He was drafted to be a bench guy that maybe turned into something. Like you drafted Saquon thinking he's got a chance to be better than Jonathan Taylor. Like you drafted him thinking that was a case.
I was thinking that he was going to be top 10. Yes, that was my goal.
Yeah. So that's my pick. My pick is Saquon, and I'm not moving off of it. You can't convince me. You can make whatever pick you want, and then we can let our wonderful audience decide.
My pick would be Calvin Ridley for you.
Of course.
I know.
Of course. But that's fine. That's fine. I managed to turn Calvin Ridley into Deebo Samuel, so.
Yeah, that is true. Okay. So we can't come to a conclusion, so.
What a surprise.
That's where you guys come in. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there you go.
Please
so respond with your answers.
That one goes away. Now, next one. Best draft pick.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, these ones are fun.
Yes, well, it's always nice to give people kudos and then shit all over them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see who we nominated. Jared, round 20 with Micah Parsons. I love him. I think he was fantastic, and I like him in Waddle.
Boys and girls, take a look. Who ended up? Brian, did you have Micah Parsons on your team at the end of the year?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I like him. He's a fantastic
look! Brian threw in a Jonathan Taylor, a first round.
I thought he was fantastic. Yeah,
great draft.
That was my 2 choices.
It's amazing.
And I got your 2 choices in there. Look, I put my 2 choices in there, and I put your 2 choices in there. What's your
your 2 choices?
Waddle, which I agree.
Your 2 choices are you.
They're not me. They're not me. I didn't draft Mika Parsons. I thought Mika Parsons on the 20th thing was a fantastic pick.
If you had Mika Parsons from the beginning, you would have known that Mika Parsons the first 6 or 7 weeks really was not doing
I
very well.
understand. He's he was a rookie. We all kind of did the same thing with Waddle and the Chase thing, but this one panned out. Anyways, I still like Waddle anyways because he did amazing.
Yeah, Waddle would be my pick.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Debo was drafted in the 6th round. Cooper Kupp was drafted in the 4th. They're obviously great picks. Jonathan Taylor, get out of here. He's a first-round draft pick. They're supposed to do what he did. So for me, Jared drafted in the 2nd to last round Jalen Waddle, and he turned into a weekly starter that was relied upon all year long.
Yeah. That's why I put Parsons in there. I put Parsons in there. I know I had him, but at the end of the day, he's the one who drafted him. So I'm giving props to Jared. It's not me.
No,
why are you wearing it? It doesn't matter. The winner is Jared.
No, you're giving yourself a roundabout pat yourself on the back. Can you believe I picked up this guy?
It has nothing to do with me.
You stop your mouth. You shut your mouth. It's Jalen Waddle. Moving on.
I agree.
It's shut your mouth.
Anyone else?
Get your goddamn picks out of here. Let's see what's next. Let's see what the next round is. Let's see what the next. It's
best drafter.
19th pick. Best draft. Okay, well, this one's easy. The answer is me.
I'm sorry. Like, just
100%.
Wow.
Listen.
Okay, I got to go to my note for this one.
We can discuss this all we want, but
we can. Yeah.
How many people in this league drafted 2 teams? I can only think of one. How many people in this league drafted 2 teams that were in the finals against each other?
Nick, you had a list. Taylor gave you a list.
The answer is obviously me. I'm the greatest drafter of all time. I drafted the 2 finals teams. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Taylor, are you hearing this?
It's incredible.
It's bananas.
It's incredible.
This is incredible. This is craziness. No. I say I got Doug, who drafted amazing. All his top 10 picks that he picked are fantastic. I think 8 out of the top 10 are great players. Same thing with Taylor. 9 out of his top 10 are fantastic players. Great players. You
should be. I
would say if you were like 7 players are top 10.
Okay, the answer
drafting.
The real answer, because
and then Jared also did well. He got some late pickups. I like Jared's pickups too.
Yeah, so it can't be Doug because
I thought it was that bad.
No, it can't be Doug. Doug's starting lineup was amazing. Okay, but he had a really awful bench. I mean, he just did. Is the minute he lost Derrick Henry, his team went on a 7-game losing streak. Okay, so he drafted the top guys well, but his team overall, he didn't have any depth to it. So I can't give it to Doug. It's not that he didn't draft well. He obviously drafted supremely.
Fantastic.
If he didn't have any injuries, he probably would have won.
I put him second. I put Taylor number 1 as best drafter.
Out of these 3, there's only one that drafted 2 teams.
Listen, okay, fine. You can say I drafted 2 teams. Listen, he gave you. I thought he gave you a note.
No, it's
he gave you a letter, and you read it. You just read it.
Yeah.
You made 1 alteration.
I know I made 2 for sure.
Oh, now you're putting 2.
No, it's 2 Taylor. It's 2 for sure. He would have ended up with Adam Thielen over Amari Cooper, which, by the way, he turned into Kamara. But he would have ended up with Adam Thielen, so he would have had Jefferson and Thielen. And he would have had David Johnson instead of Michael Carter.
Michael Carter's fantastic.
For sure. Those two for sure. But no, I mean, listen, I have to give it to Taylor because Taylor ultimately had the best team in the league. He made very few lineup alterations along the way. And I mean, ultimately he drafted Jamar Chase in like the 6th round, who ended up being like a top 5. Like he drafted very well. So
his 9 out of top 10 players are all amazing. They're all
like I wouldn't have had me in there in real life, but we had to do it just because it's really funny because I drafted 2 teams that ended up in the finals, and of course my team won. My team that I drafted, but I would have had Jared in there in real life instead of me. It would have been really interesting because Jared made a lot of really good late round picks that actually paid dividends for him.
Lots of late round picks.
Yeah. So if I had it, I would go Taylor, Jared, and then Doug. Doug had a great team. Just his bench guys just weren't very good. Mike Davis.
Mike Dave.
Davis.
Best GM.
Oh, well, this one. I mean, this one's an obvious one, right?
We got here Nick, Taylor, and Mike.
Mike.
Well, I think Mike did fantastic stuff for what he lined himself amazing for next year. I think he did some neat trades. Like he was just going all out. Risky Rizzy. Now he has a new name. He did fantastic.
Mike can't get it, and I'll tell you why Mike can't get it. He can't get it because when he traded Kamara, he didn't get a draft.
Should I got a pick? Okay, ooh, just because of that.
He can't get it for a loan for that. He was already behind the 8 ball when he made that trade. It was his number 1 blue chip trade player, and as we can see, it doesn't take much to try a first rounder off of Taylor. And so, to not get any kind of a draft pick back for that, I just can't do it. You can't get the top GM because of that.
I hear you. I think he did very well. I think Mike did very well this year as a GM.
Oh, he scorched earth. He went scorched earth for sure. He did that very well.
Did some good stuff.
Yeah, we should call him like maybe Mike the Liquidator. I mean, maybe that's
Mike the Liquidating guy.
Yeah. Like he did like once he was finally out of it, he absolutely scorched the earth, and then obviously did. I mean, next to Johnny. I mean, listen, Johnny was right till the end, and then picked up a first rounder, which is incredible.
Picked up a first rounder, yes.
But yeah, I mean, he scorched earth very well. He went hardcore in the paint, right?
Mm-hmm.
But can't give it to him.
No, you know what? I'm going to give the best GM here. I know it's going to be tough. Taylor did fantastic, but I think I got to give it to you, Nick. I'm sorry, I have to give this one to you. You and Taylor did fantastic. You guys drafted well. You guys did some fantastic waiver pickups. You guys were on the ball on the waiver pickups. You guys were on the ball on trades. So, but I think you were just a little bit of a grinder. You were there just a little bit more.
Well, I appreciate the nomination. I accept this award. I would say this. Taylor, as we talked about, is the best drafter, right? He drafted the best team. Okay. My team, for whichever, it's mostly through injury and mental health, I lost a lot of my top end guys, and I had to pivot. Like I had to pivot a lot.
You pivoted a lot, yes. You were pivoting right from the get-go.
And may I say, I ended up with the most moves in the
transactions.
league.
Yes.
Remember, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Rizzy was. I ended up with 132.
That's crazy.
Now, just to let you know, Jared had 27. Taylor had 62. Let's see, what else do we got here?
That's crazy, man.
Curtis,
that's a huge difference.
Curtis at 69, Doug at 31, you at 68. Then we have Chris at 33, Johnny at 44, Mike with all of his crazy spoilers where he's jumping and dropping off like crazy at 112, and then Kevin at 42. I had a lot of issues. So
you have issues 100%. I agree. Yes. Yeah.
I was working really hard to try and overcome that. I did a couple of
trades. Tight end move that you did as well to block Jared. Yeah. Listen, this is a dangerous rogue, Nicholas.
No. Listen, well, first of all, Jared ended up getting the best tight end of the whole bunch. He ended up with
doesn't matter, Nick. It's just what you did. It's what you did.
It blew up in my face. Didn't work out at all.
I'm just saying it's a dangerous road. Anyways, best GM, Nick.
I choose to walk it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Fantasy MVP.
Oh, fantasy MVP.
Fantasy MVP.
As in the individual player.
Best points for the very straightforward. Jason Taylor, Cup, and Allen. Running back, wide receiver.
Oh, look, Brian nominated his player again.
My guy's number 1 running back. I have to nominate him.
No, I hear you. I hear you. It's always nice to have an excuse.
I was going to say I was going to be the number 1 guy. It has to be me. But at the end of the day, to me, I have to give it to Cup.
It has to be Cup.
I do agree. Just because we're going to break some records.
Drafted in the first round. He was drafted to be great. He was great. He wouldn't be the number 1 running back if Derrick Henry was still playing.
True.
We know that for sure.
Yep.
But he's great. No, nothing taken away. Cooper Kupp was drafted in the 4th round.
Yep.
Right. So it was which wide receiver should I have on the Rams? Is it going to be Bobby Trees? Is it going to be Cooper Kupp? Which one should I go with? And Cooper Kupp is the best by he's beating the second best wide receiver by 66 points.
Yeah.
Which is the same, by the way, the exact same amount that Jonathan Taylor is up on the number 2.
Yeah,
But
something like
Cooper
that.
Cup is not. He hasn't screwed Doug once this year. His lowest point total is 8.9 points, and that was only once. Everything else is amazing. It's
No, I agree. Cooper Cup, 15 wide receivers ahead of him drafted.
Yep. Yeah. There's nothing you can do. It's Cooper Cup. There's no argument with it.
Bing, bing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was easy.
Yeah, it was easy.
See, we agreed.
Hey.
Okay. Most improved GM.
There's a lot of options.
Oh,
Who do we got?
yeah.
Who do we
We got
got?
two. We got two.
Oh.
We got two. We got Chris and
Not
Mike.
that many options, is it?
No, we got Chris and Mike.
Amazingly, Brian didn't put himself in there.
What are you talking about? I think I'm steady Eddie, kind of like I make.
Well, I like to
I made the playoffs.
I like to see what you think of yourself. That's for sure. It's always
Good. I'm like I'm a 6. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's 6.
6. That means in real life he's a 4.5.
I still pass. I'm playoff this year. I'm 500 right now.
magical.
I'm batting 500. That's all I can say right now. I just make the cup. Anyways, most improved. Who do you think, Mike or Chris?
To me, it's a landslide. It's Chris.
Okay.
You know, it's Chris right starting out with his draft.
Yeah.
You know, when he had his I'm trying to think of the name. What's his apprentice, when he had his apprentice draft for him, but he was smart to do so. He had a great draft. I remember being very surprised at the smart picks that he was doing.
Well, he also got the #1 pick too, right? So
yeah, but I mean, you still got a draft. I mean, listen, like what pick did Mike get? I think like number 3, number 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think so.
Number 3 or 4, and he drafted Deshaun Watson.
You know, Mike got number 4 and he got Kamara. So
yeah, but that's a fine pick. But like the first pick guarantees you the best player, but then Chris lost that player for like 6 weeks and barely missed the playoffs by a game, right? So, you know, he had some good players on his team. He drafted well. He was active,
very active, yeah,
right? Active on the text message thread. He was riding or dying with his team. He was super engaged. Last year, he had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yeah, he did a lot. You know, he was watching Game Day. He was watching a lot of stuff.
He was asking inquisitive questions. He was learning about fantasy football. He bought himself a hat.
He has a hat, folks.
Listen, if you are bald, okay, you know what it's like.
Oh, you need hats. I've been wearing hats constantly myself. Like
you have to wear hats. If you don't have hair, hats are super important. And Chris went out and got himself a hat. And it's turquoise. It's turquoise, for goodness sake.
I like turquoise color. It's just wrong team.
It's Chris. Mike was very active during the year in the trades and some of the.
He was really good at the end. Yes, I like that.
But his draft was really it left much to be desired.
Mike is going on the uppy up. Same thing with Chris, but I think Mikey's going to go on the uppy up before Chris does. You know, but either way, I think Chris did a big jump this year.
Yeah. No. It's Mike did great.
Mike's going to have a good team next year.
But for
I'm very intrigued to see what he does.
Yeah, but for anyone that was at the live draft and watched Rizzy draft, it was a sight to behold.
I'll tell you, live draft, folks, you got to be there.
It's incredible. Yeah. So Rizzy did great. He's enthused. He's active. He's risky at times. He's cautious at other times.
Love it.
He's learning. He's growing. But the award can only go to one.
Yeah.
It's the Highlander Award. There can only be one. And I would say that this year it's Chris.
Chris, congratulations.
Congratulations, Chris.
Best trade, folks.
Ooh, best trade.
We got some good stuff here, folks.
Yes.
Nick Chubb and first round pick.
Yeah, that was a trade deadline. That was when I had went to bed with some NyQuil. I went to bed and was like, I'll just wake up and see what happened.
That one shocked the crap out of me because I remember like this. You're not going to get a first round this late in the game. Like that's impossible. I remember Johnny coming to me, says, "Brian, this is what I want for you." I laughed. Ha ha ha! You're not going to get a first round pick. You're mental.
Yeah, I was at a family function. I was feeling sick, not COVID, and I was feeling sick. I was all doped up on daytime medicine. And Johnny texted me. It wasn't even for Nick Chubb. He said, I'll give you Antonio Gibson for a first rounder. And I just went, no. I just
I hear you.
I just went like that's not even a negotiation. That was like a Brian Paulo offer to me.
Oh, wow.
It was just like, I'm not giving you a first rounder. Like, especially not for sort of what I deemed as sort of like, I don't know, a top 10 running back, maybe. but like not one of the top tier running backs.
But he did well for he did well at the end. Like he got some points.
He did.
He did
For sure. But like a first rounder, I was like, no. Like to me, it wasn't even a negotiation, right? And so when I saw that Taylor paid up for him, I went for Chubb. Could you imagine if I had given a first rounder for Antonio Gibson and Johnny's going in next year with 3 first round picks?
Hey man,
could you imagine?
Awesome, but hey, you know what?
Yeah, could you imagine? So that was a shocking trade, and it was really okay. Taylor's in it to win it because he already had the best team, and he's like, no, I'm just loading up now.
100%.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
I agree. I think that's number one.
Some would say that trade secured me the win.
For which one?
The Nick Chubb. If he hadn't got Nick Chubb, Jamar Chase is definitely starting.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? He started 4 running backs, and they were all great. Unbelievable. That was incredible.
Okay.
Oh, look, what's the second choice here? Is this a Brian trade?
My Brian and Mike trade, 100%. Henderson for Freeman and Evans for sure. Why not? Because Henderson got hurt, and those 2 players did fantastic for me.
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. But I don't think I should win. I think Taylor. I also put your trade in there because it made a difference. You paid a lot, but you got Debo, which put you to the final.
Yeah, because he won me the championship. What did Mike Evans win for you?
Nothing. I got to the playoffs. I still got 2 players for nothing who did nothing for Evans. For Henderson, who we thought again was just going to blow tires, who you went after for some odd reason.
Well, for
depth, he did nothing.
For depth, he did nothing for me. No, for
he
depth,
did nothing. So I got 2 good players. And
listen, I did not expect the Omicron virus to come through and wipe through the NFL to the point where I actually needed Henderson, right? Like I can't
believe you actually traded for Henderson. We laugh. You laugh. You're like, oh, I'm not going to touch him. He's going to break. He's fragile. We agree.
I gave hardly anything for him.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Things should win. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Johnny picked up a first round pick. It was incredible. It was incredible. I was shocked. But Taylor, he was in it to win it. It was a great swing for him, and ultimately it missed.
Okay, best waiver pickup.
No, well, let's see who we have in the wave. Oh, look, the first.
I put one in there. I only nominated one person, and so which was the first waiver pickups? It was which I did. It was Pittman, Holcomb, and Hicks on September 4th. I picked all those players up.
Boys, bam. Are you looking at this? Are you listening to this, Nick?
No, I literally looked at the history of the waiver pickup. I'm just saying. One of the guys I have still. The other one I traded. The other one I got rid of.
What's the title of this award?
Best waiver pickup. Don't worry. I don't think I should get it. So don't worry. We're just moving. These are just nominations. Relax.
Ridiculous.
Relax.
Ridiculous. Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman's fantastic. What do you mean? Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's Patterson. Anyways, Taylor who picked up Patterson.
Taylor picked up Patterson.
Yeah,
that's correct. On September 22nd.
Yeah.
Johnny picked up Hollywood Brown on September 9th. He was a top 10 wide receiver until Lamar went down.
Yep.
And then he ultimately turned to shit right after that.
Yeah, he was doing fantastic.
Now, may I be so bold as to suggest an alternative to Brian's shit nomination of his own players?
Let's hear it.
Your choice is Elijah Mitchell.
Your guy?
Yeah. I picked him up September 15th.
Okay.
The starting running back for my Johnson special. And,
okay.
And by the way, he ran me right through the playoffs. He was getting 25 plus, 20 plus points. He was money. It was unbelievable. So I mean, listen, the winner is Cordell Patterson.
I agree.
I'm 100% just pointing out what kind of garbage you're putting up there. Michael Pittman and Corey Holcomb and Jamar. Get out of here. The best waiver pickup is a couple of defensive players.
There were 3 guys in one day. 3 guys in one day who were valuable pickups. But listen, I'm not going to win. Like I agree. It's Cordell Patterson. 100%.
It's just
Cordell Patterson
nominated, right, Brian?
Oh my God! Like I just whatever. I thought it was a fantastic thing, but no, apparently not to Nicholas. Okay, folks.
No, let me go through and find 10 more waiver pickups that were more interesting than that one.
I didn't win. Okay, last but not least.
Oh, who we got? What do we got?
Best moments.
Oh, yes. Well, listen, this whole season has been amazing. I mean, to be honest with you, when I was sitting down and I was trying to think of like the best moments, there was so many. There was actually a lot. Like I couldn't nail it down to 3, So
yeah, I extended this one. This one's like 5 of them. I think.
Yeah. Like,
but anyways, so we have draft night.
Yeah, the live draft night at Ripple's Bathroom Boutique, where you can get your any kind of bidet, toilet, plumbing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Draft, and then you get your toilet too. Draft night was fantastic. Week 7, breaker of change. You broke a record. That was pretty neat.
Breaker.
Week 8,
box.
Kansas City Shuffle.
Oh, the Kansas City Shuffle. This for you guys, because we're coming up with names. This is when Jared and Chris were going head to head in week 8. It was Mahomes versus Kelsey, and the final for that was Jared took it 118.96 points to 118.2 points.
Yes.
Chris and Jared were going back and forth on text
messages. Texting.
I was laughing my head off just watching this go on. It was incredible.
That was pretty neat, yeah.
Those game was bananas. Yeah, what's next? What do we got after that one? The Kansas City Shuffle.
8, Kansas City Shuffle. We had week 10. Oh, the first Banter Bowl.
Oh, that's the one that I slobber knockered you.
Was that theoretically that's the second Banter Bowl because we played week 8 and we played week 10 and then we got the playoffs. So, but that was okay. That was a pretty neat thing.
More memorable than week 8.
What?
Which is the one where I was pretending to gloat at like a party with like strobe lights? Was that week 8? Week 10?
I can't remember that one.
I can't remember either.
Doesn't matter. But we also have the final, which was chased out.
Oh, chased out.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, I had a saying for that one. What was my saying? Fudge.
I don't know.
I can't remember. I think he was chasing the dream and he got Jamard. I thought it was funny. No, Jamard. He was chasing the dream and got Jamard.
Oh.
I thought it was not bad. No, okay.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Listen, we're all dad. We're all having like dad bod humor here. You got Jamard.
Okay, so this one, I don't care. This one is too many. I love draft night. Draft night was fantastic. I kind of set the tone of the year, man. I'll tell you, man. John Watson.
No, listen. How did you set the tone? I'm interested to know how Brian Paulo set the tone.
What do you mean?
You said you set the tone.
No, I said draft night. Draft night.
You said you set the tone.
No, draft night set the tone of the whole season.
Do you know what was hilarious about draft night? And for those who could make it, there was Kevin that couldn't figure out how to log into his Yahoo.
Oh, that's right. He disappeared. Remember?
He couldn't figure it out. He was trying on his phone. Awesome. He was trying on his phone. He was trying on a computer. I think at some point he asked me what his password was.
That was awesome.
I don't know. Mike was there. Brian was there. Jared was there.
Yep.
Myself was there drafting for 2 teams. I don't know
if Doug was there.
Doug was not there. No. I talked to Curtis. I thought that Doug was there, but no. Doug and Curtis showed up for like a Monday night football game, but they weren't there for the draft.
That's right.
Yeah. But this is what happened for all of you that weren't there is Brian sitting there going, guys, we just need to take our time. And I said, no, it's okay, Brian. I extended the minutes because I'm drafting for 2 teams. Have I mentioned that yet? I drafted for 2 teams. So I took the time.
I warned you all. We need to take our time.
Yeah. I said I moved it from a minute to a minute and a half.
We had a discussion prior to this. It was very discussion.
I said, so there's plenty of time. I need the time to draft for Taylor's team as well. So I moved it to a minute and a half. And so he's like, yeah. And so the first 3 or 4 picks, people know who they're selecting. Like McCaffrey was coming off the board. Then it was going to be Dalvin Cook. And then it was going to be one of Zeke, Derrick Henry, or Kamara. Everyone knew this. Okay. This was not a surprise. Okay. And Brian's sitting there, I don't know, pick 8 or whatever he was. And he's sitting there going, guys, we just need to calm down and take a deep breath. And so the draft starts, and sure enough, it's bing, 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 bing. And in 20 seconds, the first 5 picks are off the board because those are the easiest picks. And Brian's going, what? We gotta.
I don't know who was flying.
He's losing his mind. Okay, he's going, guys, we gotta do this. Losing his mind. And he's like, and we're all screaming. We're all screaming. I think it's his pick. It's like, this is what happens. It goes like bing, first pick. He's like, bah, and he just hits it. He had a minute and a half. He's telling us all to sit there and think about it, and he just loses it. As soon as he had his chance, he just blew his load all over the field.
I blew it every year. Everyone was blowing loads. I would say it was a record.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a
It went
record
hard
for
like that.
3 rounds.
I think it went hard like that for about 4 rounds until we all were just dying.
It was crazy. The
Yeah.
first 3 rounds was way too fast,
Yeah, it's
way
crazy.
too intense.
So much fun though. It's so
No,
much
we need to maybe up it for 2 minutes, maybe. I don't know, just saying.
No, because you know what though? Once like the first 3 or 4 rounds, you sort of have your ideas to who you want. It's when you get into those later rounds. If you were to sit there in like the
Okay, so we
19th,
changed the later rounds. I would say they changed the later rounds
I
for
don't
like a
think
minute.
I don't think I can do that. I mean, I can check the capabilities, but I don't think it's like come round 12, it goes to 145. One
Why
and a
can't
half
why
is a
can't you
is
just
a good
change the
amount of time.
settings? Can't you just
Listen,
change the settings?
listen, I could have given us 10 minutes each, and those first 3 rounds would have gone the exact same. All right. Because every time it got to your pick, you just went, ah, we're gonna go. Because
I
the
don't
energy,
recall that, Nick.
yeah, because
Yeah,
the energy
I think
was
you're a little
so,
confused on this one here.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really always very confused. No,
Yeah.
the energy level was so high, people were so excited to get in on it that it just went bananas. It was awesome. My pick would be draft night because everybody was there
Yeah.
with
Not everyone was there, but still everyone was present.
yeah, with an honorable mention to the Kansas City Shuffle because
Okay.
I was laughing my head off for that. I
I'm gonna
really,
say my best moment was draft night, 100%. I love draft night.
yeah.
And then my final is gonna be I like the final, Chase that because he should have won. That was the moment.
There we go.
That was it. That was the
Shoulda, woulda,
moment.
couldas.
Should have, would
All the
have,
shoulda, woulda, couldas.
but that was good. But it's still fun. It was a great season. It was the
It was
most
bananas.
entertaining season I've ever had.
Yeah, well, this is all of it has just been crazy, right? Between the t-shirts, between the podcast, between the rings, between just the crazy seasons, the fantasy banter that goes back and forth on the text messages, just the whole thing. It's been crazy. It's like I was in another fantasy league this year, and I honestly couldn't cared less. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was for more money, and honestly, like I it was almost an afterthought. I was just so worked up to wanting to be competitive in this one that it was crazy. It was honestly crazy.
it was crazy. And one thing I'm kind of taking note is I'm actually going to, because I was actually everyone's in multiple fantasy pools, right? Like how many are you in?
I'm just in two.
Two. See, I overstretched myself this year, and I think this is maybe the problem. And I'm going to go take it back to two. I had
How many are you in?
I was in four. I play in three like a lot. My fourth is just kind of like you pick it and then just kind of plays for the rest of the season. Whatever, that kind of sucked.
I'm
I
always
mean,
I'm always intrigued at how, regardless of where you draft, right? Like this year, I drafted second in this league, and in the other league, it's like a keeper league where I just had a bunch of shit and whatever the case is, so it's not really the same. Is that I was intrigued at how I ended up somehow with sort of the same similar players, even though you're drafting or you're whatever and completely different things, that your guys are your guys and you got good luck or whatever the case is. It's pretty interesting how that works out. But
it is. It is. I think it's kind of interesting how sometimes from our two fantasy pools we kind of take each other's players, or we take similar players and we kind of make our team. Like I have
yeah,
my other pool where I thought that was my main pool, and then I'm like, fuck, I got to focus my energy on this pool, and then I'm doing much better on that pool, so I focus my energy.
yeah.
That's
You know what really sucks? What really sucks is when you have a player on your team
yeah.
and then you're playing that exact same player in
Yep.
another league.
The other way, and then you
So,
need him to win on
and
the
so
other one.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you sort of go,
Yep.
okay, I need him to get what is expected, but no more than that.
But no more than
But no more
I
than that.
need 17,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
no more than
yeah, yeah.
16.
Yeah, it's so stupid because
Five will be fine.
it's obviously people playing that have nothing to do or care about what you're doing. I'm like, okay, Michael Pittman, you can get 15 points, but no more than 18.5. Okay, you're like, let's not get
No
crazy.
more, no more. Yeah,
Let's not get crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's my new for next year. Just going to limit to two.
Well,
And
I think it all depends on the most engaging, I think, and the most fun, right?
yeah.
Like because that's all this is, right? Like I've been in leagues, like I was in one with Jared last year. By the way, no bragging, literally won it the previous 2 years, the last 2 years that I was in it, right? So
Ooh.
I got out of it last year.
Okay.
So I won it last year and I won it the year before. And I was like, this is not fun. It's not fun at all. The commissioner's coming after me saying I got too many running backs. He's like arguing about things. He's miserable, everything else. I'm like, I'm out. Like I've won it the
Yeah.
last 2 years,
Mm.
but it hasn't been fun. See you later. Bye. And so this thing is only fun. You know what I mean? Like, you never wanted, like, I even had this discussion with my wife, is like, I wonder how much money you can have as a buy-in before it gets too competitive as a result, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
get it.
$50, like, who cares about $50, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
No, it
it
has to be
doesn't.
a fine line, yes, with
Yeah,
money.
yeah. And so it's like, all this is like, for me anyway, is it's like competitive, which is the most fun, right? Is you're just shooting the shit. But like, why would you want to play in a league that's completely miserable and you don't care? You're just like, thanks, I'll take my money, bye. See you next year, sort of thing. So, like, yeah, I mean, if you were in four and they were all fun, then just play in four, or like whatever the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
They were different too, right?
They're
Like,
all
if
different ones, yeah.
one of them was like, if you were instead of a waiver wire pickup, it was like a bidding one, or
Yep.
whatever. Like, if they were a little bit different, they had a little bit different spice to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a two quarterback league,
That would
or
be
something.
interesting. Yeah,
It'd be interesting. Like, all of it's interesting. There's so many different styles. You can have like no kicker leagues, or just like,
yeah.
again,
Yeah. The
like, there's
two quarterback thing would be interesting, eh? That would be
it's
streaming
interesting.
two quarterbacks, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
new rules. What do you want to talk about new rules for next year, maybe?
we can talk about new rules. I know that
Anyone?
Taylor wants interceptions to now be worth negative 29 points.
Okay. Do you want to
So,
expand on that one? Or
no,
no?
no,
No? So
no,
what
no.
is it right now? -1?
I think it's -1. I don't know. It was whatever the Yahoo settings are, but I've taken the thing to heart. You know what I mean? Like, I think they are
Well,
worth -1, because I think because Trey Lance threw an interception. It's like, interceptions are only worth negative points, or -1 point, something
well,
like
yeah. Okay.
whatever
Well,
it's been all season.
I think
But
we did that last year when we found out when the first year we didn't do the running backs quarterback who ran in got extra points or got more points than the usual. Remember we fixed that? We
well,
adjusted that.
I think there was, yeah. So I think it was a 4-point touchdown scoring system if you threw it, but if you ran it, then
It
it's worth
was
6 points.
6.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
That was
So
crazy.
that got leveled out. I think the couple of ones that I thought of is doing the interception to be like -2 instead of -1,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And then also, I would like to add in the like the punt and kick return yards as counting as points. So if you have a player that is also a punt or kick returner, right? Um, right now there's 0 points that are awarded to any
Correct.
kind.
So all the yards that they would get points would add to their total
Yeah.
collected
So for
yards.
instance, like, I had Tony
Yeah, I get it.
Pollard.
I'm fine with that
I
one.
had Tony Pollard in my other league, and like 3 or 4 weeks ago, he ran like 99 yards and scored a touchdown. And so, like, he ran 99 yards and scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's like an anomaly, right? But and so I got like 20 points off of that in that league. But in this league, Kevin had Tony Pollard, and he just got the six for a touchdown.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm fine with that. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so like, it can
Pick off
add a
the game.
add a little bit more scoring. So like, if you were like, say, someone that was like, oh, McCole Hardman, or I don't know, somebody's a kick returner or whatever.
Waddle does the same thing. He does
Yeah,
returns as
I know Cooper Cup was
well. Just
receiving
more.
some punts or whatever. It can make things a little bit more spicy. Like, adds, like, these guys are out there playing, right? So
Yeah.
it's not it's indiscriminate. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like it's not like 10 yards you get a point.
Not
And then,
crazy points, but it's just little points just to spice it up.
yeah, yeah, just adding that. And I think
Yeah.
those are the two off the top of my head. But again, what I would say is that and it
Write
can
him down on the fantasy banner.
yeah, just send me a text and I'll accumulate it all. And then at some point, like next, I don't know, May or June or whatever it is, we
Yeah,
can put
yeah.
these things towards a vote, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Because it's all just, again, it's all just to make it better. It's not to screw anybody over.
No.
It's all just to sort of, just these little things. Like, yeah, like, technically, like, if you had, let's say, Jameis Winston from 2 years ago when he threw like 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, interceptions should probably be worth a negative more than a point, right?
Yeah.
Like, should probably be like, it's like the guy's throwing 30 interceptions. He's not very good. It should probably show up more negatively. But the
Correct.
scoring system is largely all just whatever Yahoo's default things are. And
Hey,
then,
we're fixing every year. We've been fixing the
yeah,
scoring system. Every year we kind of adjust it to kind of how we like it, and so we
yeah,
kind of notice these little things. Taylor noticed the interceptions. I didn't really notice, honestly. I didn't even really
no,
notice what they
no,
were. I agree. Maybe they should be two, at least
yeah,
two. And
yeah.
so, yeah, it gives it a little bit more onus. So don't
Yeah,
fucking
like,
throw it.
I'll take a look at even for the defensive players, like interceptions and sacks. Like, like if a tackle is a point and half a tackle is worth half a point, I have no idea. Maybe an interception is worth a lot already. I don't know because a lot of these things are just the default settings or whatever the case is.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
let's just say, like, players defensively should get rewarded for these sacks or these interceptions
You
in
should
a
get more sacks, I think. Yeah.
yeah. Like, so, so it makes some of these defensive ends much more valuable instead of
Yeah.
just going through the slog of, like, I
True.
don't know, like, I'll just pick this guy up. Like, so if someone gets, like, if you had TJ Watt this past week, like, man had 4 sacks. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's probably like a week winning performance. Again, I don't actually know what the scoring system is. I would love to tell you that I have my hands on all these buttons and then a power play controller. I'm really not. So these are like, they're Yahoo settings largely, and that as things get mixed in, we'll take a look at them, right? Like that waiver wire thing that Taylor talked about. I don't think we're probably moving it just based on some of the
Oh, right.
the
Yeah, yeah,
arguments
yeah.
that we heard before, where, like, you want to give people that are busy and
The
aren't
3 day, the 3 day
yeah,
period.
probably keep it, maybe move it to 2 or whatever the case is.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if people have recommendations that they think they'd like to see, listen, you want to add in another tight end slot. I know this is not a real thing. But actually,
Well,
Jared,
actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Jared,
mean,
funny enough,
what do we even
played in
talk
a
about?
league. Jared played in a league with 2 tight ends, and he said it was absolutely miserable.
Yeah, I can see that
Absolutely
would
miserable.
be crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
'cause
even
it's
like playing with two quarterbacks. We briefly talked about that would be interesting, but
I mean, it's all interesting. It's just, it's just a matter of, if
I
that's the
rewind.
style you
I
want to
rewind
go,
to look. Yeah,
because it changes. Yeah, I mean, everything changes the values of things, right? So it's all about, to me, you want to make it like if you got 10 guys, which is what we got now, right? And let's just pretend like we like all 10 guys in the league. Let's just pretend. Then you want to make it competitive so that, like, you don't want to dumb it down for everyone and, like, just say, oh, oh, poor baby, here, we'll give you. But you want to be able to, like, this is like a standard league essentially, right? It's like a half point per
yeah,
catch
half point. Yeah,
scoring
yeah,
league or
half
whatever the
point.
case.
Yeah.
You get to the point where you start bidding on waivers instead of waiver wire things. You go too tight. Like, it just changes the philosophies to
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
which can be a little bit complicated. So it's important to, like, not try to, in my mind, is to try and advance it faster than what, say, a Kevin, a Johnny, a Mike, or some of these guys that are still learning, Chris, are still trying to, like, listen, I haven't played in half of these types of leagues either, right? So, but I'm also insane. I'd probably spend 20 hours reading stuff to
And
better. Yeah,
way
yeah,
too much.
yeah. I spend way too much time. So, it's important to try and, like, make minor tweaks to
Yeah,
advance it so that it's more fun.
slow and steady, man. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, nothing crazy. But any recommendations, just you
Any
can
recommendations,
send me
folks?
a private link. You can send me a private text if you don't want to put it on Fantasy Banner, and I'll just write them all down, and then
Yeah,
we can just propose them or whatever. It's not a big deal.
give it to Nick. That's his job.
Yeah, but yeah, my job. I work really hard. But yeah, this is the last podcast for the year. I mean, we've
Yep,
got what Rizzy is offering up his Ripples bathroom boutique, where you can find yourself
yep.
any kind of wonderful sink or attachment, shower head. Just come to his place.
Hey, it would be
Don't throw.
fantastic. Ring ceremony. We'll have the ring ceremony for Nick, and you can buy your own toilet. Hey,
Yeah,
listen, you can do everything in this little thing. Yeah.
yeah, Super Bowl, buddy. So I think Chris said he was in.
Super
Mike
Bowl.
obviously is in. Jared
Yeah.
said he's coming. I got permission from the wife. She's a little bit bummed out
I'm sorry,
that
you got
she's not going to
permission?
see me on. You know what? She looks for. She doesn't care about the game. She looks forward to all the fucking food I put on the table.
Uh,
Right.
uh,
So, it's like chili, and then I make, like, this nachos. I actually make a pretty good nachos, and then I make
mhm.
wings that nobody else eats but me, and all this other shit. The Doritos come flying, Cool Ranch are out. Just, it goes crazy, and you're just so overstuffed. It's just ridiculous,
It
right?
is ridiculous. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see who comes for Super Bowl
Yeah.
Sunday. I know Kurt and Doug can't.
I'll probably be there. I'll mosey my way around there. Even if I have kids or no kids, I'll be around there somehow.
Yeah. I mean,
2
like,
seconds away. So
this has been so. You know what I was thinking too is I was thinking there was one year where I went to this. So the guy that was running the league that was, like, giving me all this shit about having too many running backs. So I went over to his house this one year for Super Bowl. It's a miserable son of a gun. Anyway, but he had this sheet that was printed out, so you could. It was essentially like you picked, like, what's the first play, run or pass.
yeah.
Who's going to score who's going to score a touchdown?
Yeah.
One of these 5 players. Who's going to win? And so it was like a 10 question thing. We can all throw, like, I can prepare. We can all throw like $10 in. Winner takes the pot or whatever to spice it up for the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like fun. I was just thinking that would be fun. Nobody has to do it, of course, but it was fun. Keeps you a little bit engaged.
I hear you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like, I just had
When's
so
Super Bowl this year? Anyways, January what?
No, it's February. It's the second week in February.
Oh, fudge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I think it might be attached to like the Family Day long weekend. Yeah. It's the second week in February, whatever that date is. But yeah, this year has just been, I mean, from my perspective anyway, it's been, and obviously I won, so it adds a cherry to it. But it was crazy and it was so much fun. You know, I had a ton of fun. You know, I had so much fun, even just like even little things like Neuendorf calling me on Christmas Eve to like wish me a Merry Christmas and then go, so when are you guys doing your podcast this week? I'm like, you cannot be possibly asking me about a podcast on Christmas Eve. But yeah, I mean, people were, and they're like, I look forward to this. I listen to this every week or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. It really does not. But it's so much fun. Brian does everything here, guys. So all I do is bring me, which is obviously
hey, which is a lot. You still bring the content. I mean, I'm not bad on the computer, folks. I'm okay.
Brian brings everything that you see, whether it's the pictures or the little words or everything else. Brian is the one that invites me in. I'm just a special guest host every week. So
you're the co-host, homie.
The co-host. But yeah. But I have no control over any of this. Like you could have whatever you have.
Nick sucks a dick. I know, and he has no control.
Yeah, I have no choice. I just have to. I'm
he just has to take it. I know, and you know, one day you're just going to see a nice like coming in, right in there. But
yeah,
today.
Yeah, and on top of
this, today,
I know. Listen, this podcast will go right up and until the day that Brian beats me, and then you'll never see me again. That's it.
I know, eh?
Because
Super Bowl is February 13th, by the way. February 13th, Sunday. February
13th. Yeah. So the day before Valentine's Day. So yeah. So I mean, looking forward to all. Again, this is just so great. Forget the football thing. It's just so much fun to hang out with. Obviously, you, Bryce. I talk to you every week, and obviously, like we talk before the podcast and after the podcast and everything else. But even just all the other guys, like shooting the shit with Mike or Kurt, just talk all the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. You know, especially during this stupid COVID stuff. Like it's nice. You know what I mean? It's nice to. There's no outside what's going on in people's lives. It's just pure fun and horseshit.
Okay, so for the Super Bowl party at Mike's this year, everyone bring a dish, bring something.
Yeah,
Mike always gets the food, man. Come on, you know.
Yeah, well,
we'll buy wings too. But
yeah, and you know what? We can always just again because of the text, we can just go back and forth so we can figure it all out, right?
I know, bring food. I'm the only one who cooks. I'm thinking like a girl now. I'll bring food, guys. You know.
Well, you know that's your role. Everybody serves a role.
I like to cook. I'm not like a roll. Like I guess
I'll bring rolls. I'll bring rolls.
Rolls.
You don't want to be the guy that's like, I'll bring the chips, or I'll bring the pop. I'll bring the pop. I'll bring the pop, guys. I'll bring the pop and the chips.
Guy, that's Chris. I'll bring the pop. No, he's bootleg guy, isn't it?
I don't know. You know what? We'll figure it. Like as I say, I don't even know what Rizzy has. I know he lives there, but like I don't know what he's got as far as a kitchenette or whatever. Like, is there an oven there? Do you know? There's no oven.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so definitely can't do nachos there. I can't bring nachos to do there then.
No.
We'll discuss this.
I don't think so. Maybe it's a toaster oven. I have no idea.
Are we having any listeners right now? Is Mike listening right now? No.
I don't think no one's listening.
Yeah, I saw all I saw is at the beginning of this podcast, Mike sent out some message. 1 second, it's still right here. He just said "fuck your team." I don't know who he's talking to. Could be talking to you, as you said, live final award show. He says "fuck your team." I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
Probably talking. I don't know. Maybe he's saying that to everybody.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't know.
Okay, folks, that's all we got. Till next year, I guess.
It's been a hoot.
It has been a hoot. Ba-da. That's all, folks. Yeah. Okay, that's all. Where's my banners? Bye.
Well, that concludes this episode of the Banter Brothers with your host, Brian Paulo, and his co-host, Nick Johnson. Make sure you tune in each and every week, where they'll be ripping up the airwaves, delivering you the fantasy football highlights. Again, this is